thank you. We thank God for this day. We thank God for the grace and for the mercies that has been upon our lives. We welcome each and every one of you who is joining this afternoon to Kingdom Business Insight. It's a praise of the financial restructuring mindset, and therefore I take this opportunity to welcome each and everyone who is joining this evening. I know this will be one of the most transformative programs that you have ever had or an experience with, because today's topic is very, very interesting, because today we are looking at what we call mindset before money, restructuring the African financial mindset. That's what we are looking today. And so, and I believe that why income can't fix the ignorance, why income cannot fix the ignorance, and therefore I want to look at it just for a minute as I check. I see my Facebook, how it looks like. I want to see how my Facebook looks like. Just a minute, so that we can have an extreme. I want to have a very extreme kind of topic today that will transform totally the way you think about the money. So be sure that today's program will transform your mindset completely, and you will never be able to look the money the same way that you look at it. This will be one of the best programs that you have ever had in your life, because I know this is what you have been looking for. I know there is a certain kind of the signature program that you have been looking that can transform your way of thinking. I know you have been asking yourself, what kind of the mindset should I have to do better than what I do currently? And therefore, this will be one of the best programs that will change your way of thinking and think better and increase your income, increase your prosperity, increase your wealth, and it will be a pointer of your wealth. It will become a pointer of your wealth. And from today, as you reason and you contemplate this program, you are going to understand deep things regarding the finances that you have never had before. Because making the money is not the most important thing, but the mindset of making the money is what is the most important thing. One particular moment I wanted to have a certain kind of way of making money, but one of my friends told me, I wish you can get a certain professor who can coach you on how to make the money in an easy way. And that statement changed all the perspective of my thinking about the money, because there is another way that you can make the money, which is not equally the same with the hard working, because the mindset comes before the income. And if you can understand that, most of the people you ask them, they will tell you, if I can get the money and I start this business, so what comes before them? It is the money. It is not the kind of the mindset that they can have to make the money. But if you can have a mindset pattern that can help you to make money, then that money that you need, it becomes an easy way of earning it. Those are two different ones. I've used it. If you can have a better and a fashion program mindset, making the money will become easy and earning money will become possible. Why? You are not working out of the ignorance. You don't raise to the level of your income. You fall to the level of your mindset. So in other words, the level of your income, it depends with the level of your mindset. You cannot supersede your level of your income. Your level of your income is being determined by your mindset. Oh, let's start it. We are going to have a very, very good program. Welcome the people on the TikTok. I'm so grateful to see we have Jerry Washiko. Just sit there and reason. After reasoning this program, Jerry, you will confess. After this, I'll be able to give a story related to this. Thank you, Jamal. Welcome. You're most welcome. I'm happy to see you. I'm happy to see you. I'm just setting something. Thank you, the ones on the Facebook. I'm so grateful. I'm just setting something here so that we can continue. I'm setting my notes properly. I'm just setting my notes. Just continue writing, continue sharing, continue writing, continue sharing. So let me say a few things. Now I'm okay. Let me give you some core insights that we require to understand. Some core insights of the money mindset, or the money before mindset before money. Money mindset is, we said from yesterday or from Monday, it's a correction of many thoughts, many beliefs, and many emotions, patterns that shapes on how you earn, you save, and you spend, and you invest the money. That's what we have been looking throughout the week. And today being the third week, we are looking more about the money, the mindset before money. Your mindset, as we said, is a software within yourself that governs how you interpret money, opportunity, and progress. And I remember giving you a very good case study yesterday where I was saying most of the Christians, they don't like to associate with the politicians, because the politicians, they look as if they are corrupt people. They look as if they're greedy, because it's what we are scoring yesterday, the money myths. And because of the money myths, now the interpretation, the money from the politicians is a money of corrupt deals. And therefore, your software governs you. And now the opportunities, for example, most of the politicians you find with them, they have the opportunities with the tenders of the government. But because the Christians, they are software to interpret, they don't want to build the networks with the politicians. This is the software, how it is interpreting the money mindset. And this is what we are restructuring and telling some people that's not a good mindset that you should be operating with. Some of the Christians, they don't want to enter in the partnership with a Muslim, with Hindus, with non-religious people, because they feel these are worldly people. This is all about the money mindset, how it is interpreting and governing your way of thinking, and which is along kind of the software mindset, which we said yesterday, it is infected with a virus that need to be cleansed up, so that you can be able to have the right kind of mindset. Love the money. Money may change your conditions, but your mindset changes your capacity to sustain and to grow you. Now let me repeat myself. Money may change your conditions, which most of the people, they want their conditions of where they live and where they come from to be changed. But remember this, it is the only mindset of the money that can develop a capacity to sustain and to grow that wealth. So in other words, these are the kinds of the people that they get a luck in these kinds of the bettings, and then that money, when it comes, it for a particular short time, it changes their conditions in the how they live. But it is not a long term, it is a short term kind of sustaining, because definitely they will go back to where they came from. So many people think that they need more money, but what they truly need is money mindset. Truly what they need is the money mindset. Because if you give a poor thinker more income, they will upgrade their comfort, but not their capacity. So in other words, we are saying, give a poor person, a poor thinker, money, like what I've said as a bet, in those lack those kinds of lack, what they would just do, they will improve their comfort. They will buy a car the first thing. They will improve their clothes. They will buy their clothes. They will change their wardrobes. They will change their furnitures. They will change their... In other words, anything that is making them to have a comfort. But if you give the same money to a rich thinker, they will improve their capacity. And that capacity can build more income for them, and it can sustain them and grow their income, and now they can have what we call the wealth. Why? These are two kinds of the mindset, that they are receiving the same income, but one has a progress life, but another one who has a comfort depreciate the same income. And therefore, there was a study that was done by the World Bank, and which was being post-aid incomes. These are the post-aid, the money that the people are given. Over 68% of the individual who received a large financial grant without a financial literacy were back to the pre-grant poverty levels within 24 months. No, let me interpret it better. During the campaign, especially here in Africa, you find the politicians, they give the grants to the people. And when they give the grants to the people, which is the handout, within a very short time, they still go back to the same politicians to look for the grants. I always ask this question: why to go and beg for a president to do a certain development in your area? Well, it is in constitution and constitutionally right for the president to do the same development for you. So why to go and beg? It is simply because the Africans, they depend on the grants. They depend on the prepaid economy, or what we are calling post-aid economies. That's their mindset that they operate with. And not only in the governorship, but even in the family levels, even in the community levels, a certain person is being employed in the authority or in a high well-paid job. He will sustain his family or sustain his community by that post-aid economy. That's when they have a problem or they want to do a particular thing, he is there or she is there sending some grants. But that grant does not help anyone, because it deals with the crisis management of a certain issue of that particular time, but it does not help the people in the community. It does not help the family. Why don't you develop a better mindset, learn how to develop your community? And that's kind of that brings now the income that buys things, buy you things, but on a mindset build a system. So in other words, that rich and well-paid person, why don't you develop the systems that can be able to sustain your family, sustain your community? So in other words, we are saying, for us to restructure the money mindset, we need to bring the reform of the money, and we change the mismanagement from prosperity is not about the amount, it is about mindset first. Mindset first. So I want to say a few things about I want to say a few things about the money, and then I give you a very, very, very good story that will change you. The money, the truth about the money flows in direction of the mental maturity. So when the people have been developed in a structure, in a very structured way, which can be developed by a certain system, they come to a money maturity or the mental maturity. And with this way, The truth and the facts about it, you begin with the structure, not the emotions. So in other words, if you have to change the money mindset, and we develop the money before, mindset before the money. In other words, we are saying you develop a structure before emotions. In other words, we are saying you develop a discipline before budget, saving, and delayed gratification of the money. So in other words, you develop the discipline on how to spend, on how to save, on how to build a budget, on how to develop a delayed gratification. That is something to bring the comfort in your life. So in other words, you build the mindset of a discipline before all the others. Then the number 3, you need to develop a value, create a value instead of chasing validation. Develop a values of the family, the values of the money, instead of the validation by other people. Number 4, we are saying you think a long term instead of a living paycheck to paycheck. Develop a long term plan instead of hand to mouth, instead of a survival mindset, instead of the scarcity. That's what you need to develop. Money follows the vision, but vision is born out of vision is born from mindset. So in other words, the vision is born out of the mindset, and when it's born out of the mindset, the money will follow it. But most of the time they think you need the money so that you can have the vision. That's a long mindset. You need a mindset to give the body to a vision, and then a vision, and the money follows the vision. So you cannot have the money if you don't have the vision. When I was doing the business, I was very good in developing the vision, and then after developing the vision, I was very sure that if you develop a vision, then develop a structure and system, it will attract the money. The money that you don't have, it will be attracted by a vision, and not only a vision, that vision, when it's structured very well, then it has a system. All the other kinds of the money, wherever it is, whether it's in the bank or circle or it's with the people, it will be, that structure and the system of the money will attract all the money, and the people will come to buy your vision, and they will able to finance you and to support you. That's why people who won in lottery go back to bankrupt, simply because they lack the money mindset. They don't have a mental framework of the money that can manage. In other words, we are saying until the inner world is renewed, the outer world will always return to the default. Let me give you a case study that was done in Kenya, and this case study, in Kenya, there is a lust for income. So the people lust for the income, but not for the financial education. So the people when you keep the 2 seminars, one seminar is for the financial education, and another one you build you invite the people for the the grants. The people will go for the grants, even if it's 500, like the Hustler Fund, they still learn for it. But when you don't tell them, come up for the education, financial education, very few people will turn up. I have tried it, and I saw the people not interested. But what happened later? Young people chase high-paying jobs, but often lack saving culture, financial system, or investment plans. And later, what happened to such a kind of the people? They end up going back to what we said yesterday, debt slavery, where they were not taught. Let me give you a comparison with the Germany mindset. In Germany, where financial literacy is taught early as age of 10. So in other words, by the age of 10, the children in Germany, they are taught on taxes. Today, how many people have filed the taxes? So many people, they don't have the understanding of how the tax of their country operates. But you go to a Germany, a child of 10 years. I remember the day that I used to work with the Asians. The Asians were very concerned on how to pay the tax and even on how to negotiate about the paying of the tax. But for us, who are educated graduates, we were not interested to know about it. As long as the boss is paying, we were not interested on how we can get the relief about it. This was all about the ignorance of the financial education. So the saving culture, the compound interest. So many people, they go to the bank to get the loan or to the circles, but they don't know whether the bank is calculating for them using the compound interest or the simple interest, the formula that they use. Why? It is lack of the financial education. I remember one time I had gone to the MBCA and I was talking about how you can negotiate with the bank about the interest. And there's so many people came to ask me, is it possible you can negotiate with the bank on the interest? It is possible simply because you have a financial education that you know how to work with the compound interest, which they use to calculate the interest to charge you. And the other thing that the German students, they are taught at the age of 10, it is the investment. They know where to invest. Here in Africa, we just know to invest only in the land. But you go to other nations, today they are investing in technology and innovation because they are not looking on, they are looking on the future. As a result, the income is matched with understanding. The income is matched with understanding. The difference is, in Africa, money is treated emotionally. It is what your peers, they come and pump you with their own ideology about money. But now you go to Germany, it is not treated emotionally. That their economies, money is treated structurally. There is a structure that has been developed, and they know the levels and the lack of the money growth, and that brings the difference between the African mindset money and the first world countries money mindset. Why they are fast and why they develop better is simply because they don't approach money by emotion. They approach it, they have already a structure which I defined, and I said it first you develop the discipline before you develop the discipline. I want to give you a story. I want to give you a story of a certain young man when I had been doing a life coaching, and then this kind of a man changed his mindset. And just like the way you have just risen, and I know it's changing you. Years ago, a young professional, years ago, a young professional reached out to me. He had just landed a job that paid him 5 times his previous salary. But within a year, he was deep in debt. Just listen. This is what I have said about the Africans. Had no saving and felt more anxious than ever. He told me, I thought more money would fix my problems. But that was not the truth of the matter. He thought the more you have money, the more you fix your problems, the more you have more problems, because you don't have a structured way of planning for the money. It is more of the emotional. I told him, you don't master your mindset, money will magnify your mess. So if you don't master your mindset will always mess you completely. So what can we say? Most of the people today, they are suffering not because they didn't have the money, but their mindset messed up. They are messed up their money and their life. So in other words, let me continue with my story. This is my story. So what is the story telling us? So we began early working, and we started working his financial, just a minute. So we started working his financial worldview about the money. So we created a budget, set the goals, and redefined his value system. Within 18 months, he was not only as free from debt, he had started a side business, what we call a side hustle, that now supplement his income. So this young profession, what I did is rewiring, reworking his financial worldview, and we changed and we developed a structure of his money mindset, and that way we changed his life completely. Personally, I also had a confront with the illusion of the money, more money and equals freedom. But that was not true. At one point, I earned very well. This is very true to me. I earned very true, but was still mentally poor. No strategy, no saving, no plan. I had to learn the hard way that income without insight is very, very dangerous. So it is not about more money. It is about the money mindset. Mindset is not what you earn. It is how you think. It is how you think. Money mindset. Mindset is not what you earn. It is how you think. Once my mindset changed, my money followed me. So immediately when your mindset is changed, your money will follow you. What do I want to say as I finish? I renew my mind to handle what I want to hold. Renew your mind to handle what you want to hold. That 1 million that you want to handle, that 100 million, that 100 billion that you want to hold, it will be possible by changing your mindset. I don't chase money. I cultivate mastery of the mindset. I build this system, steward resource, and I grow from inside outside. I build this system. I develop the capacity to build the resources. I grow from inside to outside. That's all that I can say. Develop the system. Develop the capacity to build the resources and grow from inside to outside. In that way, your money mindset will have completely changed. So, as I finish, I believe your mindset is changing as we continue this journey of the money mindset. I know you are there and you are listening to me. And you have been desiring to have a transformation of your mindset. You have been looking for a person or a life coach or a motivational speaker that can transform your money mindset. Pastor Sam KAMAU is very much available and willing to walk with you this journey. Just go to my DM and tell me, Pastor, I want a change in my life, in my mindset. And I want to walk with you a journey. And I want to help me. I will just incorporate you to my life coach program. And then we shall walk a journey together with you. Thank you so much. Because I look to walk with you. Tomorrow, we shall have a very interesting program about money mindset. Part 4. And what shall we be looking? Breaking the scarcity script. Breaking the scarcity script. That scarcity script that is written within you. How lack